Now, face the mighty bison.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the TWT. It's off to a great start, but also not a great start at the same time. Players are still hesitant about getting in, and you can see that with the most recent tournament that happened, where only 81 players showed up to a challenger event, which usually has at least around 200 players. You guys already know Akari dominated Evo Japan, which in my opinion is probably one of the most stacked tournaments we ever had. I mean, we have so many great players, right? Mogul, Lohai, the Pakistanis, Atif, John, Arslan. But so many times, all of these guys can't be in the same place. Pakistan, they deal with visa issues. Koreans, sometimes they have their own tournaments going on. Same thing with Japanese, so they don't travel to everything. But Evo Japan, especially this one, was the first time where pretty much all of the Pakistanis made it, and the first time where all of the Koreans, the Japanese players, and a lot of the EU players were there as well. I know some of the Americans didn't travel because they're struggling to get sponsors and whatnot, but it'll be cool to see everyone get to travel. But at Evo Japan, you even had Chinese players like XCC in the pools, right? So this was the first time where everyone was there, and also everyone is at the height of their game. Everyone is playing incredible. From low high to knee. You don't know who's going to win the tournament. The whole entire tournament, people were like, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win? And I kept saying, I don't know. I have no clue. And it could be someone that we're not even thinking about. And then what happened? Akari came through and landslided the whole thing. Changed the conversation with one hell sweep at a time. Made history and dominated. And even till this very moment, at the time you guys are watching this video, people are still heavily debating the power level of Kazuya. It's like blew open the gates. You know, the bubble has been popped. Kazuya has been talked about as being a weak character for so long, and this kind of showed that if you believe, if you're confident, if you're skilled, if you're Akari, you could dominate. But then after, we've seen Kaisuke do it. Literally 2 days after, Akari bodied everyone in the tournament as well, and this just poured more fuel on the fire. Now, at the same time of all of this is going on, you have many other tournaments happening. We're getting deeper into the Tekken World Tour, and we also have good news, like with Spaghetti Rip, who is returning to do some commentary. That's a very good thing, right? So expect to hear his voice at some of these events. We just had the Brussels Challenge, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, which is a tournament in Belgium. And this one was insane because Tetsu, this player here, won with Lidia. Now, you know that just recently we talked about what the main man was saying on his channel in his video, how he feels about the character. And it's pretty similar to how everyone feels. We're kind of sick of Lidia. Lidia was a cool character at one point in time. We thought she was a cool character, cool identity, strong character, karate, martial arts. But in Tekken 8, with all the buffs that they've given her, she is just obnoxious. Counterplay, no counterplay. I know there's a lot of counter arguments that people try to make, like, oh, you got to go in there and lab, bro. Lidia is wild. Forward 4-2 stance mix-ups, installs, damage. It's absurd. You even see pro players having to just hold block. They're so afraid to do all of this so-called counterplay, and they hold block. Now, there's also defense against Tetsu, because some people are starting to say, like, look, Lidia's broken. Tetsu just won a tournament, but Tetsu's a really good player. Tetsu is really good, and if you've seen it, he played very, very well. In this tournament, he ran through some tough competition to get to where he got. He 3-0'd Arslan Ash, 3-0'd Nino, and 3-0'd Elias. Did not lose a single game in the entirety of top 8. Bro was flaming. But like I said, this only adds more fuel to the fire surrounding Lidia. And currently right now, there is this weird debate going on of whether or not Kazuya and Lidia are the same. And what I mean by that is some people are arguing, why do you guys hate stances so much when Kazuya is a stance character? Now, I had these two people on my stream who were kind of like playing both sides, right? One person thought that Kazuya wasn't stance. The other person thought that Kazuya was a stance. And it really just boils down to the way that you perceive the game. The person who was arguing that Kazuya is a stance character, they were even going as far as saying that basically sidestepping, crouching, jumping in the air, and doing a delayed hop kick are also stances because you're putting your character into a state where you could do a bunch of different moves. Now, I personally don't agree with that, and but it just shows you how loosely of a term the word stance is and why this argument is even happening. People are kind of tired of the Kazuya downplay. Some people are trying to defend Lidia. They see some similarities. They see some turn. It's a perfect storm for conversation and controversy. But I also think that these two characters are nothing alike, right? If I had to give my take, I think that Lidia is a monster. Kazuya, he's strong. He's not a weak character by any means, but he's not Lidia. And I think this game would be so much better if the developers came down on that character. We need this so that the game can succeed. I seen the main man, he was playing against a king player. This was in a video, so I don't know exactly when this happened, but I seen in a video, he lost to a king player and he just turned the whole game off. That is something that the developers have to stop. This is not season 2 anymore. They need to fix these things because the game is fun depending on what character you're fighting against. You can have a type of fun, but they have to go in there and they have to just attack the characters that need attacking so that we can have a little bit of fun with this game and just enjoy the rest of it. Because for some people, they think that season 4 will be the last one, right? So at least go out with a bang and set up for Tekken 9 to be something great. But before we look that far ahead, I do want to show you guys the current TWT leaderboard. You have Akari at first place because he did win Evo Japan, and you get a lot of points for doing so, 800 points. Followed up by Ni, Tetsu, Hasfiz, who came in second place at Evo Japan, and then Arsenal and Ash. He competed at a couple of events, so he's collecting a combination of points. But this is how it looks so far. We're going to see all of these different placements shift over time, and people are going to continue to evolve, especially if the developers' promise holds true and they put balance back into this game. We're going to start seeing some things happen. And then also taking into consideration, Kunimitsu, by the time you're watching this video, releases in 15 days. Some people aren't too worried about her because if you look at the trailer, she's kind of just doing Tekken 7 all over again. And I know that sounds crazy, like, wait, that's the whole thing. But what you got to keep in mind, Kunimitsu was playing Tekken 8 in Tekken 7, and that's what made her so strong. Just like Fakaram, just like Leroy, just like all of the later DLC characters. But now that everyone is playing Tekken 8, I mean, you can see with Fakaram and Armor King how the ground is even. So if Kunimitsu doesn't get any crazy things, which once again from the trailer we didn't see it, it could be there in the frame data, hidden in some of her other moves, but what they showed is she doesn't look too crazy. But we'll see that. The developers will probably release some gameplay soon. We know we have Combo Breaker coming up where they're going to show off testing of the character. On the topic of Combo Breaker, I will show you guys this thing as well that was sent to me. So we know for Evo Japan, we talked about how Street Fighter had thousands of players, right? 7,000, they broke records, Tekken 8, and nothing else came close to it. And now we're doing the same thing for Combo Breaker. But this time around, you can see how Street Fighter is equal to Tekken when you don't necessarily consider Japan. Japan gives them a massive boost. Street Fighter 6 is just wildly popular in Japan. But when you travel over to the Americas, you can see that Tekken is only 200 players away from that game. And now keep in mind, this is still while a lot of players are skeptical of Tekken 8 and they're still, hesitant about playing the game. Some people still have it uninstalled. Some people are still waiting for the next update. So imagine if the developers deliver on the next update. Imagine if Kunimitsu was a fun, awesome character. The next tournament that we get to after Combo Breaker, these numbers could be flipped. And this is what I mean when I say Tekken 8 has potential. They just have to live up to it. They just have to reach it.